Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to Inside Movies Galore. It is 2019, and I'm going on to talk about a film from 2014 by a director that is more known for his producer capability by the name of Akiva Goldsmith, which he goes and uses the production companies of Village Roadshow Pictures, Warner Brothers, and Weed Road Pictures to create a film called Winter's Tale. And the reason why I wanted to go on and talk about this film is, well, first of all, it is still winter here in Wisconsin. Secondly, it is a very oddball, magical film in a sense. It is a kind of a slow burn, but I really enjoyed the story and how it was brought about. It involves Colin Farrell, which he was a very used actor at this point in time. For he has been in many different films. Iron Man. He ended up being in a remake of what was that vampire film? But anyways, he plays a character called Peter Lake, where in the 1800s he was a burglar, and the film starts out where he's actually seen going into Grand Central Station, and he as he is going into this upper room in the station itself, he is remembering how he was born, how he came to be, how he ended up being a burglar, and then how he ended up meeting this horse that took him to some magical heights. Now, this wasn't just any horse, and it was not a unicorn, but it certainly gave us a wonderment because it definitely had wings, so it was more or less a Pegasus. But the horse ended up leading him to the love of his life, who just so happened to be a dying woman with red hair, who gave him a miracle, her miracle. But he was being chased down by a demon that had been his previous employer, who was played by Russell Crowe. And Russell Crowe definitely brought to the character Pearly Soames a darkness to him. Which, seeing The Mummy, which is a later film, I am not surprised that he is able to bring a darkness to this role, where he plays this demon who is trying to mercilessly turn humans into mindless demonic slaves, and you can automatically tell that his character emanates some kind of power here on Earth, because there's a moment where he walks into a restaurant and everyone seems to scramble and to attention because his name means something. If no one listens to him, something's going to happen, and it's bad. I mean, just the thought of the darkness that he brought to this character. It's almost like he was overly dark, if you know what I mean. I mean, it was definitely theatrical, and I liked that this brought a darkness to his role. And what surprised me is who played Lucifer. It ended up being Will Smith, playing Lucifer, the guy that he goes to for counsel on this matter. He has to actually ask for permission to go across the lake. Now, ultimately, this story kind of spans over 100 years, and Peter Lake, Colin Farrell's character, ends up still alive, and he realizes that he's not quite done with, he's realizes he's there for a place, and I like the background story. I like the story of how he ended up burglarizing um, the home of Miss Beverly Penn and her father's, and how their interaction was. I thought that Jessica Brown Finlay played a very carefree young woman who knew that she was going to die, and she wasn't afraid to die. And I thought that her character brought a very much of a light to the darkness in this film. And I like that this film broadened the subjects of good and evil. That it is an ever-present battle to humanity, and I think that this film brought a sort of wonderment towards the end of the film. My only thing is that the same instance that was used for Dragonheart was used for the ending of this film, where what if when we die, we become stars? And I know that I'm somewhat telling the end, but I'm not entirely telling the entire story. So I would say just watch it. I was entertained by the film. It was definitely a very beautiful enacting film. I enjoyed William Hurt's character as Beverly's father, although he looked a lot older than some of the films that I know him for, like One True Thing and Altered States, and including that sci-fi version of Frank Herbert's Dune. So he has definitely played a father figure before, and I thought he brought something to this film that was definitely unique and entertaining. Colin Farrell was definitely, even though he was a burglar, he definitely did bring a lot of genteelness to his character, because it was set in the 1800s. He didn't know as many manners as, or his character wasn't supposed to know as many manners as Miss Penn's character was supposed to know. But I think he had a very polite manner, so to speak. But in any case, in the future, he ends up meeting another mother and daughter kind of a figure, and it is there we realize what miracle he was meant for. In any case, hopefully you enjoyed my description of this film. I definitely loved the CGI that was used in this film. It definitely looked pretty decent, and almost angelic. A lot of the film didn't use much of anything. There was a moment where we saw the demonic presence that was, in fact, Will Smith and his character Lucifer, and that was the part that kind of surprised me. That was an oddball character where I didn't expect it, but I certainly enjoyed seeing his presence here, especially since in the future he is actually in the live action Aladdin as the genie. So it will be entertaining to see how he pulls off that, since he pulled off this this king of hell character here in New York, 1800s New York, and the present New York. So, in any case, hopefully you enjoyed my description of this film. Here is what the film looks like. It was definitely beautiful, definitely entertaining. I mean, I thought that all the characters that were involved in this were definitely impressive, and the acting was pretty decent too. It's not like they were trying overly trying. I don't think there was much that that some of them had to do. So, in any case, thank you so much. Have a great day, evening, or morning, wherever you are. Appreciate the time spent here on my page. Appreciate the viewers. And I just enjoy describing the films that I watch. So come back anytime.